Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to Shake, Rattle, and Troll. Hope everybody's doing well in-house today with us from, where were you, at Harold's Casino? What?
Buffalo Chip.
Okay. JK's in the house, and no telling what he's up to. A couple special guests. We've got Al Tracy and Bill Burrow from the Arizona Hobbyist Council. We're going to be talking about some more government intrusion. Will that cover it?
That's about says it all. Okay.
Toll roads. This has been being kicked around for a while, and apparently, like a lot of other things that we're having, getting force-fed, this is growing here awfully hard to swallow. So, we'll be going through the fishing report with Master Rod Builder James Guggenauer at the 8:30. At the 8 o'clock, we'll be talking to Captain Davis Sparza from the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Did he inspect your boat yesterday?
No, but he was messing around with the 5-ton. Yeah. Make sure we don't have any quagga mussels on the M923A2. Hoorah.
Yeah. By the way, that's a beautiful rig.
Thank you.
You've done well with that.
The Arizona Military Vehicles Collectors Club is, they're having their annual show over at Metro Center. We're obviously part of that, but
whole lot of green out there.
A lot of green. There must be 70 vehicles over there.
Oh, easy.
Did you make it over yesterday?
I went by it, but I wasn't able to.
Oh, it's huge. They've had. This is the 23rd annual show, and I've participated in a couple of them. And this year, I was stunned. The turnout was just amazing.
It's a good location for it too.
I think so. Yeah, Metro Center's kind of come around. Back in the day, your hair is about the right color, and we used to get chased off for cruising.
Oh yes, I remember those days.
Yeah. But now they
it's been there that long
since '72.
Yeah.
Wow, that's way before my time.
We didn't get stopped in cruising until like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh my.
What's that white stuff in your beard? Have you been painting, John?
I was doing a lot of painting yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if that washes out. Mm-hmm. And moving along, thank you very much. We'll be doing the All-Star report from last week from John Sneed. And, John, what's happening on the fur side of life this month? You guys got a catchment project coming up here pretty quick.
Yeah, in March the 8th, 9th, 10th, we're going to be up at right outside of Pumpkin Center with the Twin Buttes catchments that we're going to be putting in. You're invited, of course, to help participate. I'm sure you'll be there. I mean, this is a perfect path for the 5-10 to try and navigate.
The week before Bass Days? Are you kidding me?
Okay, then I'll take it. That puts a stop to it. No, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing Bass Days, and then we're going to be working on a couple of things on top of that. We're going to be auctioning off the one Coos deer tag that we have, as well as one mule deer tag, and we're probably going to be having that banquet sometime in June.
Nice. A location picked yet?
There's a lot of talk right now about the Cave Creek Resort, which, since I'm up there all the time anyhow.
So what would be the matter with Hooters at Metro Center?
I don't see a thing wrong with it.
I'm just saying.
The cost per meal would go down. Yeah.
Entertainment value is way up.
For you, not for any of the female participants who happen to have money who want to come in and buy something.
Women with guns? What's wrong with that picture?
Absolutely nothing. I admire women with guns.
Hoorah. Okay, we're going to just let that one slide.
Thank you.
And then at about 7:55, we're going to do roll call. We've lost 2 more soldiers last week in Afghanistan, and one of our good friends and local anglers. So let's get right to Al and Bill. Back to you. What's up with the toll roads?
Well, Maricopa County Association of Governments, MAG, and ADOT have serious plans for us here in Maricopa County to start with. Their plans are within 3 to 5 years to convert all of our HOV lanes to start with into HOT lanes, high occupancy toll lanes, where in other states they call them Lexus lanes, where the rich can use them anytime they want to, they feel like using them. If you've ever been on our HOV lanes during rush hour, they're just as crowded as the other lanes.
Oh, yeah. But I've tried to blow up Susie doll and, the whole thing. It just doesn't work.
Well, you don't get any faster there. But their plans are to convert, if you've been out on the 202, past the 101 out Santan,
yeah,
they now have 2 lanes that are HOV out there, and that's what they're planning on doing is tolling 2 lanes. 40% of all traffic will be tolled, and they call it fee-based managed lanes. But the cost on this is $3 billion to convert them with sensors and cameras. And ADOT admits that revenue will never equal cost, so it's another government money pit we'll have to subsidize.
What is the logic behind doing it?
It has no logic.
They got it from New Jersey. Figure it out.
They plan on doing this. It's just like, they've built bridges that nobody uses, pedestrian bridges across the freeways. There's one at 63rd Avenue and the 101.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them on the 60.
Yeah, and nobody uses them. They're not practical. It's just another government waste program. And, they have some serious plans for us here. The I-11 west of Phoenix.
Oh, yes.
They had a meeting we attended. The Hobbyist Council, the Automotive Hobbyist Council had members at the October meeting out in Goodyear. We got them to admit the cost on I-11, $130 million per mile.
What?
Yeah, they said that with a straight face. And the whole purpose of it, the I-11, they make it sound like, you can... I've had people say, well, you can drive to Vegas in 2 hours. Yeah, at 120 miles an hour, I don't think that's legal. But
I've tried it.
This is the bypass that Wickenburg's concerned with, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the bypass. And right now they had a meeting last week out in Surprise, and they've narrowed it down to like 5 corridors possible. But the reason why it's so costly is because every politician who knows anybody in ADOT has been buying up land in that area. Insider trading on real estate is not illegal, unlike the stock market. So there's a lot of insider trading going on out there. That real estate is going to be very, very expensive. But, we got them to admit the whole purpose of the I-11, which is a CAMX highway. It's supposed to eventually go from Canada to Mexico.
Right, yeah. Well, Game and Fish is all over that now. I mean, now we're spending money on that whole issue.
That corridor would go through some really fairly good hunting
and fishing areas.
Yeah, the wildlife habitat impact is going to be a monster.
Oh, yeah, and the whole purpose of it, we got them to admit in October, was to open up Mexican ports to Chinese goods. So that they
Do we have any Chinese north of us?
No.
Why don't we just take over Canada, take over Mexico, and the game is over?
Yeah, basically that's about it.
I like Canadians just the way they are. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Keep them isolated, way up there.
However, annexing Mexico would make it just so much easier. It really would. I'm not advocating an overthrow, but I think the efficiency of running it, and it's already a porous seam anyhow, so why not do it?
You want the governor's phone number?
She's got mine on speed dial.
On the watch list.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, getting back to the toll road issue, the fact that most people aren't aware, we have a law on the books since July of 2012 that allows them to seize your vehicle and suspend your license if you don't pay 4 toll road fines in 45 days. We don't have a single toll road in Arizona, but we have a seizure law here already.
Run that past me one more time.
Say that again.
They can seize your vehicle and suspend your license if you don't pay your toll road fines. Bill, what was that House bill number?
Let me pull it up off my email. They actually went ahead and hang on, I've got a copy of it here. House bill is 2491, and it basically says that within 45 days, if you fail to pay 4 tolls, they have the right to suspend your license and seize your vehicle for unpaid tolls.
Even though we don't have any toll roads.
We don't have a single toll road.
And when
here.
is this proposed to take effect?
Well, it's in effect now.
It's in effect now. The
And
bill was
what's that
passed a
House
year and a
bill
half
number?
ago. The House bill is HB 2491. It was from the second session of 2012,
It's already law.
Who
It's
are
on
the...
book.
Okay.
Wow.
and it's titled the Module Mover Vehicles. It was actually retitled that. And
Modular move vehicles?
go ahead.
I'm scratching here. Keep going.
So it's an extensive list. I mean, the thing is
Who brought the legislation in? Who are the legislators who brought it in?
Well, the main legislature that's behind this is Karen Fain, state senator from Prescott.
Prescott. Okay.
You're familiar with Fain Road?
No, but I will be.
Something smells here really bad. All right, hey, I'm Don McDowell with...
John Colazar.
And Billbro.
Al Tracy.
We're going to thank some of our sponsors, Build Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Check them out. Back-to-back Motor Trend champions, 2013, 2014.
Making my rounds all over town, putting out
All righty, we're back. Al and Bill on toll roads.
They're giving me a
John's
headache.
eyes starting to glaze
Not
over.
glaze. I'm mad.
You should be mad.
I guess it's like anything else, Don. You and I have always commented about people who are not aware of wildlife issues. You and I are sitting here. We were not aware of what's going on with quote unquote not toll roads.
Yeah. Fee-based managed lanes.
Okay.
But you're not the only ones that are not aware. We've spoken to thousands of people, and they all look at us with a blank stare, with the deer in the headlights look like toll roads. What's that? There's no toll roads in Arizona.
I do remember
There'll never
reading
be
about
toll
it
roads.
about 3 or 4 years ago. Where there was some
This
talk
has been
about
around
it.
for a while.
Yeah.
Al's and his guys have spoken at a number of groups that I attend. What are you doing to try to combat this?
Well, we have a petition drive.
If this is a done deal, why are you going through a petition?
Well, if we can get a state initiative, which would be a constitutional amendment that prohibits the conversion of existing publicly funded or maintained roadways into fee-based managed lanes or any form of toll road, that's the wording of our proposition. If we can get that on the ballot in November and the people approve it, it's a done deal.
How many signatures are you looking for?
200,000.
260,000.
And we have to have those by the 1st of July. We do have a considerable one already, but we're not at our goal yet.
Yes.
And if we do reach that goal by that date and the state verifies the signatures, then it will end up on the ballot in November, which happens to be a governor race as well. And we want the people to be able to have their decision to say, do we want this or do we not want this?
Where's our senators and all of this mess?
Well, actually,
let's start with the big one.
Yeah.
we had, as far as the state senators,
Well,
federal?
let's take federal first, because I'm sure federal has an interest in what we're doing, or are they not simply saying that if you're going to be state managed lanes, I mean, we receive a tremendous amount of money for highway manufacturing. I mean, that's been what helped Arizona grow. If you're putting in competing technology and lanes that are going to be managed that way, is this all private funding that's coming through, and is it just through the state legislature, or has there been no inclusion to our federal congressmen?
Well, look at number one, where the money comes from for road repairs, which is what they're saying the toll roads are supposed to be for. We are charged 18 cents a gallon for every gallon of gas we buy by the state of Arizona to go towards road repairs. The feds
Infrastructure work on them.
Correct. And the feds charge 18.4 cents, so 36.4 cents per gallon is put on to every gallon of gas we buy, and that money goes into a fund to maintain all the roads that we have. All that money seems to have been broomed elsewhere to balance the budget or to pay for other parts of things that have nothing to do with roads themselves. And now they're claiming that they have no money for road repairs and they have to come up with, for use their words, alternative funding. Nobody wants to use the word toll. Toll is a taboo word. As soon as you say that, they change the subject. It's like, no, it's not. It's alternative funding.
It walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck.
Yeah, we've heard about alternative lifestyles. That's wrong. Just go to Starbucks and see what happens.
Well, the thing of it is, we pay the 18 cents a gallon gas tax, and by state constitution, they cannot touch the gas tax until just recently. They had to put it into the HERF fund, the Highway Use Fund, and that's where they keep brooming it. Last year, they broomed $1.3 billion from the HERF fund to help balance the budget.
Not for the state.
Yeah, state.
Really?
Yeah, that was his
$1.3 billion?
$1 billion from the HERF fund. And then Karen Fain, I mentioned her earlier, State Senator, she was sole sponsor of a bill that allows them, if you have that bill number.
I do. That's HB 2172.
And what it does is allows a percentage of our gas tax to go now towards is it Parks and Recreation?
Parks and Recreation, bonuses.
And salaries.
Yeah, and
not
salaries.
improvements.
Okay, no, I can help you a little bit. Arizona Parks and Recreation has been an entity for eons that has failed to pay for itself. And I know we put in some, we were helping at least, 7 years ago, I did a lot of work and we helped create some language for the off-highway vehicle legislation. And at that time, Parks and Recreation were being paid for through funds that came from the off-highway vehicle fee usage that they were putting in. And the key to that is that there is not a single inch, let alone mile, of off-highway vehicle trails in any state park. You can't. And so that's how they were paying for it then. And they were stealing usually the legislature with a wink from the people who were in charge of state parks and recreation at that time were getting $700,000 right off the top each year. Now that's a mere pittance compared to this $1.3 billion that you're talking about.
Yeah, but getting back to the gas tax we already pay, I sat through a MAG meeting in March or April last year, and what they did was discuss the fact that our gas tax has not been raised since '93. It's been 18 cents a gallon, so they're proposing 50 cents a gallon to raise it up. Now, California just raised theirs in March to 38.5 cents a gallon, plus the federal 18.4, and they're talking about raising ours up because they're already looking at divvying it up. And that's what the point I was making was that Karen Fain, sole sponsor on a bill that became actually law, I think in July, that allows them to take a portion of the gas tax and use it for other purposes.
Now, I know our legislature is, on many occasions, is pretty dumb. People who, for whatever reason, have great ideas in their heart of hearts that they want to help and they want to become part and parcel of decision-making process because they think they're intelligent enough. Who, if anybody, number one, Ms. Fain, who opposed it? And was there any opposition? Did it just blow straight through with no problem? It had to be sold in another way other than what you're presenting, and it wasn't?
No. I mean, I think I don't know what the exact vote was, but it was almost unanimous as far as I heard. There was no opposition at all. They said, well, yeah, Parks and Recreations needs more money. Let's take it from the guests.
Yeah, I mean, the leap from the $700,000 that they stole annually from the off-highway vehicle fund to $1.3 billion is a quantum leap.
Oh, yeah.
And
they keep sweeping it.
Last year we rented out Wesley Boland Plaza to put on a demonstration for them to let them see, listen, we have people that are concerned about this. We invited all of the representatives, the Congress people, anyone from the state capitol building to come down. We were going to buy them lunch. We were going to explain to them our position. 3 came down to visit us, and that was it.
Actually, we had 15 out of 90 legislators show up for lunch. We bought them lunch. We had a 20 by 40 tent there. Like Bill said, we rented Wesley Boland Plaza and 17th Avenue in the parking lots.
Right.
We filled it with collector cars, really nice cars, to give them something to look at lunchtime. And only 15 out of 90 bothered to even have lunch with us. And some of them had the huevos to send their staff down to get their free lunch.
And they actually said, we're here to collect our lunch, and the person's not going to be coming down. We're sorry.
Has anybody thought about a recall or impeachment? Or privatizing ADOT?
On a daily basis.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
When they came down to get their lunch tickets for their bosses, the staff, we had already prepaid the lunches. We had, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tony Boulis's Fire Up Freedom fire truck.
Yeah.
They catered the lunch, and we already paid for the lunch, so I gave the tickets to transients.
Nice.
Good idea.
I like your style. I got 2 more Starbucks cards.
I do
by
too.
the way. All right. Hey, wow, this is not good news. We're going to stand down, and when we come back, we're going to finish this up. And I don't think we can finish this up. This sounds like a battle.
It's just the tip of the iceberg. What they plan on doing with us, I won't even get into the federal mileage use tax.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. We'll be back. All right, we're back. Toll roads, this is not good news. Where do you want to pick this up on? I'm still stunned about the billions of dollars, the fuel increase. What's your reception from the public?
Well, the people who are coming from other places, Chicago, New York, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, that have relocated here and come out of a place where there's tolls are 100% for what we're doing. They're like, stop it. Do anything you can to stop it.
Okay, Texas has got a new toll road. First of all, how did that happen in Texas?
Well, they've got a number of toll roads all over Texas now.
Really?
Well, this new one,
the newest one.
I understand it's managed by a company from Spain.
Yep.
Right.
Educate us on that particular issue.
Centrus?
There's 3 different companies that actually bid on most of the toll roads that are in America. They come from Australia, Mexico.
Just to manage them?
Just to manage them.
Yeah, they don't own them. They just manage them. And
we're not smart enough in America to manage the toll road?
Well,
I thought the mob did that.
Yeah, really.
Teamsters.
Yeah.
They're outsourcing everything nowadays. We sold the Capitol to a foreign country. The Arizona State Capitol building is now owned by a consortium that's foreign-owned. They sold that a few years ago. And last year when they swept the HERF fund and broomed that, they were talking about, well, we got surplus, let's buy our Capitol back. But now they're leasing it, the old Capitol building.
Does the term one world government ring a bell?
It's kind of that way, yeah.
Seems like that's the track.
But let's go back to Texas. I mean, Texas is probably one of the most independent states, and most of the time they're fairly astute about Texas rights. So they have a toll road in Texas. You're telling me there's multiples. The new one we were talking about off air, which was like an 85-mile-an-hour speed lane.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Who owns that?
Well, it's the people of Texas own it. It was built by the state.
And who's paying for it?
The people of Texas.
And will they ever own it?
Nope.
Why
It'll never
won't they
be
own
paid
it?
for.
Why?
It loses money every day.
And in the contract that they've done with this company that's managing it, the company has asked for or demanded and received a 75-year guarantee from the state of Texas, a no competition clause that they will not build a competitive road. So therefore, they can't build something like I-95 versus the Florida Turnpike, which runs side by side out of Miami, in order to allow people to drive for free. If you want to run from point A to point B in that section of the state, you have to pay on the toll road or take surface streets.
Which the surface streets are being left in disrepair because they can't compete against the toll road. Yeah.
And that's within the agreement, no competition clause.
No compete clause. And they can't even bid it out to another company. 75 years. Now, who in their right mind would sign a 75-year contract?
I find it difficult that a Texan would go for that.
I think the Texans went for the speed, and that was about it. That's what intrigued them. That's what I heard from everyone that was saying, oh, yeah, we're going to be able to drive 85 miles an hour now.
I understand as somebody who is putting in that kind of an effort to create a vast throughway, that you do not, if you're going to be paying for it through tolls, that you wouldn't want to have a competition-based business going up right next door. But not for 75 years, and certainly not without any clauses for performance.
Yeah.
I mean, if the state citizens don't own the road and it's losing money every day, why do it?
Well, that, John, and you're not maintaining your
own infrastructure.
existing infrastructure. I mean, this is...
It boggles the mind. It really does that people have this type of thinking.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be an easy one. It's like wolves are nothing compared to what's coming.
They're just basically going to build stuff and do stuff that makes money for certain individuals here in the state.
I'm serious, Al. Has there been any recall or impeachment efforts started against some of these people?
No, not at all. You know, the average
America
person
really is dumbed down and just a bunch of morons living here.
Well,
No,
I think
basically,
there's
yeah.
so many. There's hundreds of issues, Don. You look at it. I mean, realistically,
Yeah,
with
pick
the
one.
information. Yeah, I mean, we've picked ours. Our battleground's wildlife, fishing and hunting. That's what we do, and you and I could expose thousands of people all the time to what's really going on that nobody's aware of.
They don't care.
No, well, not so much that we don't care, but it's information overflow. These guys are coming in. Al's coming in and going, "Hey, did you know about this?" And we're looking at each other like, "No, I didn't." And nobody's saying anything, and it's going to happen. We're going to go from 18 cents a gallon tax to 50 cents a gallon tax. You know, if we pay more than California for fuel, that's outrageous and stupid.
Mm-hmm. The whole project that they're looking at is, I'd have to classify as stupid.
Well, they call it the left coast for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they're going to do projects. ADOT, as far as I'm concerned, ADOT and MAG are running muck. They've got the legislation has been passed piecemeal over the last few years. The 3P legislation that allows public-private partnerships. Mm-hmm. That was passed a few years ago. I've had people say, well, what legislation's up? It's already been passed. And now these people have no oversight. It's like out on the 101. The Cardinals are getting an off-ramp.
Yep.
I didn't see a vote on that.
Nope.
You know, I lived out in that area. We built the Bethany Home off-ramp on the 101 for the stadium. Now we're putting in another one at Maryland. And who's paying for that? Obviously not the Cardinals. So, you know, we've got to control these people and get more public involved and educated, because the media right now are, you know, so-called, normal mainstream media is totally ignoring the issue.
There is no normal mainstream media.
No, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah,
absolutely it is.
Yeah, but we're getting ignored completely. When we had that rally in February 27th at the Capitol, we had reporters come up because we had made a lot of noise, sent out a lot of press releases, and so we got some response on the news. One of our guys, while we were setting up, was on Good Morning Arizona. They interviewed him, sent a female reporter out, and she was asking some questions. And then everybody was telling me that after they did that segment on that Good Morning Arizona, the one co-host turned to his other host and said, "Toll roads, who knew?" Now, these are reporters.
Nice.
Well, okay, reporters, the talking heads, I guarantee you, they know less because they're not intrigued about anything other than looking good on TV.
You're inundated by whatever they hand you.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, you got a pile of papers in the morning.
Yeah, that's about it. And, you know, these people, for the most part, they don't believe. We run into that all the time. I haven't seen anything in the news about it. Why? What are you talking about, toll roads? They're never going to do toll roads. It reminds me of a few years ago when we had the speed cameras pop up on the freeway. Nobody knew they were coming. And even if we don't reach our goals by getting the petitions, we're trying desperately to get our goal of 260,000 signatures. But even if we do that, if we could build public awareness, just like they did with camera fraud, and they got the cameras taken down.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking, too, about some of the money paying for Parks and Recreation.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go through that? Because I've always been fascinated how the state legislature wants to have Parks and Recreation by all means above anything else, and yet it has never been self-sustaining, never self-sufficient, and usually gets run down.
And they've got too much authority.
How are they going to take the funding and put it into Parks and Recreation from road toll taxes?
Well, it's not actually, there's no money going to be generated by the tolls. There's going to be a loser altogether. They're divvying up already our gas tax that we're already paying. The 18 cents a gallon is now being
out of the
divvied
HERF
up.
fund.
Before it hits the HERF fund, it's being divvied out for Parks and Recreation, according to Karen Fain. And what was that vote? 56 to 1?
To 1.
57 to 1. And it's called the State Lake Improvement Fund. It takes 1.6% of 1% of the Arizona's gas tax money and may use that money for staff and administrative costs. So this is your gas tax that is going to go to something other than what it was designed for.
Which is the state
what it was
Parks and
taken
Recreation.
for. So it goes on with what I said earlier. If I give you $3 to buy a gallon of milk and you come back without my milk and without my money and then ask for $3 more, we're going to have an issue. And I think that's what most people don't realize this.
But here's the deal, though. You're not giving me the money. You're taking the money because I don't know it sits in my wallet. And you're going to the store and you're coming back and you're telling me, oh, we're going to have another tax. And you're not even telling me. You just keep taking more and more out of my wallet. That's what it is.
Wow. I'm starting to get it on the Millionaire. Watch your wallet.
Watch your wallet.
Well, we laugh, world goes around, and I love you.
All righty, we're back. We're going to get roll call going here in a minute. But, Al, Bill, where can interested persons come to you to sign your petition?
Well, we're hitting them right now, all the car shows, all the major car shows.
Are you going to be at Metro Center today?
Not today. No. We were out at Firebird, the new Firebird, on Friday. We had people at 67th of Bell at the Kmart Mexteca parking lot last night. One problem we have, I was discussing that with you earlier, is we need more volunteers. We've got a lot of invitations to go out and set up booths and collect signatures. We just don't have the manpower to do it. It's just the Arizona Automobile Hobbyist Council that's behind this. We've been fighting the legislature for 41 years. This is our 41st year. But we only have a small nucleus of people right now that are doing this. We need a lot more volunteers. You can contact us through our website, ArizonaAutomobileHobbyistCouncil.com. And we'll be glad to take on all the volunteers.
We'll get all this up on the ShakeRattleAndTroll.com website. Cross-link into you. This is way too important to let slide.
Well,
Any ideas, JK?
It's like we were chatting about it earlier. There's so many issues now that if somebody is, number one, well-funded, and number two, has a conflict of interest that they want to carry through the legislature, and they happen to be part of the legislature, I'd be most interested.
They have to be corrupt because they don't get paid enough to have a normal life.
No,
come on.
Anybody, the old logic was you were a fairly affluent individual who had made a success of your life, and you went to serve the people and part of government. Now it's the opposite. You go there to become affluent.
Yes.
And then you become a lobbyist after you serve your term, and you're protected with all the perks that the government has to offer. It's wrong, and it's weird, and it's changed.
It's America.
Yeah, the new America.
So what happens? What happens if we start public outcry on demanding resignations of department heads that are problems?
Again,
not
funding.
No one going in that. Nothing's going to happen, but as public awareness.
Well, Al knows. I mean, it's a matter of how often can you squawk, how loud can you squawk, and how many more people can you get to squawk with you. That's going to make all the difference in the world.
And they're going to, make you out to be Chicken Little. So you have to have somebody behind
until
you.
the tolls hit.
Yeah. Yeah, we've actually had people at our meetings say, we're tired of talking about toll roads. Can't you guys talk about anything else? Because we have monthly meetings, and some of our older members, they show up and they expect a dog and pony show to be entertained every month. And I actually feel sorry for these people because they're going to be the first people to squawk when the tolls go in.
Absolutely.
And why didn't somebody do something about this?
Well, we're sitting here fighting the government on Mexican gray wolf recovery, and quite frankly, at my age, I'm not going to live long enough to see it to a conclusion.
No, but we always.
I hope you do.
I'm your senior. Just remember that.
All righty, guys. Heads up on roll call this week. We have lost 2 soldiers killed in battle. For January 26th, first one is Army Specialist Andrew H. Sipple, died January 17, 2014, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. 22 years old, out of Cary, North Carolina. Specialist was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 8th Cavalry Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division out of Fort Hood, Texas. He died in Kandahar, Afghanistan, and I'm sorry, I don't know what this actually equates to in a non-combat incident.
Army Chief Warrant Officer, 2nd, Edward Bowley, died January the 20th, 2014, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. He was 42 years old, of Monterey, California, assigned to headquarters and headquarters troops, 2nd Cavalry Regiment, U.S. Army, Europe, out of Select, Germany. He died January the 20th in Kandahar Province, Afghanistan, of wounds caused by small arms fire.
And earlier this week, we lost one of our own, local angler, Butch Nestling. Passed away earlier in the week. We don't know what the circumstances are, but if you've ever fished a tournament here, you will know Butch always had a smile on his face. Good angler, good sport, and he's going to be missed. That's the price of freedom this week, guys. I'm Don McDowell. We'll be back.
On the angel flight, come on, brother, I'm taking you home. Come on, brother.
Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
All righty, hey, we're back. Don McDowell here with the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. JK's in the house. Got the glazed look. Got some fire in your eyes on this toll road issue. Bill Burrow and Al Tracy from the Arizona Hobbyist Council on toll roads. Joining us from somewhere out in the desert is Captain Dave Esparza, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, boat captain, deuce pilot, Captain Dave.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning to you, sir. Hey, good job on the special awards on the dues and half in the boat yesterday at the Arizona Military Vehicle Collectors Club. Nice job.
Thank you very much. I owe it all to you.
Well, you know, that's like having a kid and letting somebody adopt your kid, and the next time you see that kid, you don't recognize that kid.
Yep, the deuce and a half is no longer what we knew.
He's a good dad. It's got a brand new Coast Guard,
and it's hauling a big rig.
Yeah, got a boat.
Got a boat.
Wish I had a boat. Great big boat. Way cool.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about what you do for the waterways. What's going on within your flotilla?
We're very busy this year. We've had our elections. We have new command staff in place. We're setting higher goals for all of our membership. We just had a meeting with Arizona Game and Fish where they could not stop talking about the good work that the Coast Guard Auxiliary is doing on our local lakes. They are very proud of what we do to fill in for the lack of law enforcement and some of our more remote lakes where...
I'm going to let that lack of law enforcement slide, but today and today only. We'll be back on that next week.
Okay, and I can help you with that too.
Thank you.
It's, the winter months, there's not any funding for the sheriff to be on the lake. They're basically...
Whoa. Stop, back up. Say that again.
There's not enough funding for the sheriff to be at the lake in the winter hours.
There's nobody on the lake, right?
Where's John Ramsey?
So it's not on their priority list. So that's where we fall into being there on the weekends that the sheriff is not.
Okay, so they're gone. You're there. What enforcement capabilities do you have? Can you write me a ticket?
Enforcement capabilities. My job is helping people that are in distress and education.
I'm having a lot of distress today over this toll road issue, Dave. I have to tell you.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Dave, are you still doing a lot of your work out on Pleasant for training purposes?
I do work at Saguaro, and I do work at Pleasant. Those are my two main lakes, yes.
Have you ever been up into that North Arm of the Agua Fria by any chance?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever seen an eagle?
Have I seen what?
An eagle. We have that nesting pair that you probably had illegally taken then. If you frustrated them in any way, shape, or form that they decided to take flight. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But that's an issue. Are you telling people they can't go up into that arm of the Agua Fria as well?
If it is the closed time of the year, yes, it's illegal to go up there, which I cannot understand. But that's what they have to do.
We will talk this afternoon in depth.
Yeah. It's, we have eagles at every lake. We have eagles that nest in the narrow channels at Saguaro Lake, but they don't close it.
There's no restrictions there. There's no restrictions at Bartlett. There's a 300-meter restriction at Roosevelt and a 4-mile restriction with non-fledging eagles for the last 4 years on Pleasant.
When that law first came out, I could understand that they didn't want the little baby eaglets disturbed or scared out of their nest, and that made sense. But then I'm driving by the same eagle nest at Saguaro Lake going, well, why doesn't that apply here if it applies there?
By the way, just so you know, there's a lake up in Springerville called Becker.
Yeah.
Becker Lake is all of maybe 60 to 80 acres, and they've had forever a nesting pair of bald eagles on that lake. If you put in the same application that they have on Lake Pleasant onto Becker, that lake would be closed forever.
Yep.
Sure. And I don't know if anybody can give you a solid answer to why that is. But, I know people that have even gotten the citation. It gets pretty ugly because they've got somebody sitting up there with a radio and spotting glasses.
Pestering the eagles.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, bang, you got law enforcement on you for disturbing the eagles.
Well, since this thing came up, let me give you a high sign. The Southwestern Bald Eagle Management Committee is
tell them who it's
comprised
of
16 partner agencies, and I'm not going to name every one, but I'll give you AGF, Arizona Game and Fish Department, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Lake or Maricopa County Parks, Luke Air Force Base, Salt River Project, Bureau of Reclamation, the Arizona Air National Guard, Gila River Indian Community, Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, Bureau of Land Management, American Eagle Research Institute, White Mountain Apache Tribe, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Sonoran Joint Venture, whatever in the hell that is, the U.S. Forest Service, and the National Park Service.
Holy cow.
The determining factor whether we are able to lift this rests on the shoulders of a fellow by the name of David Jordan, who is the manager for Maricopa County Parks and Recreations, Lake Pleasant, who has not returned 4 phone calls over 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So, wow, this is an issue that is coming to the table very rapidly, and I hope to see it come before the February commission meeting. However, looking at the agenda, it didn't make it. We're going to see if we can't get that revised. And I've met with TBF on this past week, the BFN on Monday, and other angling groups across the state, as well as some of the groups that comprise the AZSFWC. We're going to deal with this.
Yeah, what I do is I get a small contingency of personnel and camp on his front door.
There was a suggestion to do some type of a boat-in with trucks and trailers into the tin lane.
I do have a group of people that I will be hanging out with today that we could just roll up to the front door with.
Hoorah.
Good point. That would be interesting.
Okay,
wouldn't it, with the tank?
So if you have the first 5 ton run out of fuel and the last one run out of fuel.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well.
We'll bring the tanker truck.
Albert's got a 5,000 gallon tank truck. Yep.
Captain
Here we
Dave,
go.
how much training are you doing now in the winter months? Is this your prep time for coming into summer when we're going to start seeing all the activity?
We're going to actually start in February, right after Super Bowl. January is really bad for us because there's a lot of training conferences, in classroom type stuff that we're doing, and that goes on pretty much every weekend, all month long. And then, of course, nobody wants to go out on Super Bowl weekend. And then, so the second weekend of February, we will start hitting the waters, getting our members trained, getting them all back into shape and getting them ready for spring boating.
Wow. Dave, we got to wrap this up and flip into a break. Again, congratulations on the special category award for the Deuce and Half in your patrol boat. Nice job. Very, very well done.
Appreciate it.
All right, we will see you over there after a while. Check out Dave's truck and boat display at the Metro Center on the west side, across from Castles and Coasters. Arizona Military Vehicle Collectors Club, 23rd annual event. I'm Don McDowell.
John Colazar.
Bill Burrow.
Al Tracy.
We'll be back on Toll Roads. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, giddy up.
Pat Daddy, nice job.
All righty, Toll Road from Hell. We got that coming up. We'll see what we can do for you. We happen to know some bands, so get me a copy of that. We'll proudly play that out of Bill Luke Chrysler Jeep and Dodge Bass Days, the 16th annual. So you guys going to have a booth out there, and maybe you bring the Patriot Riders out?
The Patriot Guard Riders, I can contact them and find out if they can have a contingent of people that are available on that day. Absolutely.
We would love to have you out there and do a meet and greet. I think what you guys do is awesome. Really important.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to do it.
It is.
But we'll continue to do it as long as the need is there.
Yeah, it's kind of like doing roll call. I welcome the day we don't have to do that. We've done as many as, I think, 39 in 1 week.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it just, the onesies and the twosies, and the stuff that's going on over there is just, and it's looking like, Somalia and some of the other things we're doing, it's going to start to escalate again. So, it's all bad. What's the next step for you?
Our next step is to get enough signatures to put it on the ballot in November. We tried talking to the legislatures. They didn't want to talk to us. It's a done deal. We've been told by basically, in so many words, by the mainstream media, it's a done deal. Keep your mouth shut. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want anybody to know about it.
Describe a done deal.
Well, I was in the meeting last April when Maricopa Association of Governments.
Good old boys at MAG.
Yeah, the Transportation Committee, headed up by the Scottsdale mayor, voted to go from Phase 1 to Phase 2 of a 4-phase program. Phase 4 is implementation at a cost of $3 billion.
Of taxpayer money.
Yep.
With a B.
With a B.
Yeah, and ADOT got up in their presentation, and this is the same meeting they were talking about raising the gas tax, which hasn't come about yet, but that's when they were proposing it. But ADOT got up at that meeting and said revenue will never equal cost, even at the fee-based price, which is prime time. They're talking about 50 cents per mile to use the HOVs.
In the heaviest traffic times.
Yeah.
Wow.
50 cents per mile, and it's still not going to pay the bill. So we'll have to subsidize it.
That's plus $100 for your Susie Ride With Me doll.
Oh,
Yes.
kind of like that. Yeah, you'll have to
your
buy
suction cup buddy for your windshield.
You'll have to buy a transponder from your local Walmart, wherever else is selling them, and keep that loaded with your debit card, and hope it doesn't run out. On our website, we have.
How do we invest in the transponder companies?
That's Karen Fain's job.
Maybe
We need
to
talk
ask
her.
her.
Yeah. There we go.
Want to go to Prescott?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'd like Prescott to come here.
there's some individuals here in Arizona that are investing in the transponder business and the sensor business. In Arizona, have you ever wondered why we get to cross a solid white line, which is against federal guidelines, to go
I
into
noticed
HVAC?
that. Yeah, we can't cross it. The dotted white, the striped white lines where they're broken up, you can cross easily. In Arizona, you're allowed to cross a solid white line. It's a solid yellow that you can't, but the solid white line you can cross.
Actually, Arizona is one of 2 states that is in violation of federal guidelines because of the solid white lines. You can't cross them at the gore points.
Not at the gore point. No.
But you can cross them for the HOVs, and this is part of what they want to do is change our HOVs, bring them into federal compliance by having exit and on points
Only.
And just like they do in California, and even put up barricades and separate those separately and put in the sensors and cameras.
And the reason that they painted them white to start with is because it would save them a step later on. Instead of repainting over a dashed line, which is what we should have now, they decided to save a step, so they went ahead, and they admitted that as well. It was to save money, and so they went ahead and just painted the line white.
This is as big as a cover-up as Area 51.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's the more you scrape on it, it's like an onion. It just keeps peeling and peeling.
Yeah. Burn your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
Layer after layer. It's burning our pocketbooks, not burning our eyes.
Yeah, it's burning something. But, we've got to make people aware of what's going on here. And it's just the tip of the iceberg as far as I'm concerned. We haven't even discussed the fact that the General Accountability Office, federal government, last year, January 10th, issued to Congress a recommendation to chip every vehicle in the United States through your registration sticker with an RFI chip and they'll track your miles. And we have this report on our website. I'll link to it. They want to charge 15 cents for every mile you drive everywhere.
Or would I be in big trouble?
Boy, you and me too, buddy.
Oh,
man.
60,000 miles a year later.
Yeah.
I do.
At least.
Think about the people in the cab business that drive 250 to 400 miles a day.
Yeah, I saw those green cabs out there.
That's what I do. Seriously, 60,000 miles a year. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm probably close to that, if not more.
Yeah.
Well, if you're, say, just an example, the average Arizonan puts on, $1,500 a month on per vehicle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most families have 2 vehicles. So, $275 or $225 a month per vehicle additional.
Although it would be nice for me for tax accounting purposes at the end of the year to have a chip that shows where I went all the time for all my write-offs or mileage that I use.
Yeah, but saving on taxes.
There'll be an exclusionary verse on that.
Well, you
close that
know
loophole.
that. Yeah.
The problem, too, with this federal mileage use tax under the new healthcare legislation that gives federal government real-time access to your bank account. So their proposal is to just go ahead and send you a notice at a certain date they're going to just debit your account.
Come on, mattress.
Like a sock at a coffee can.
Yep.
I think personally, I've said this before. Where we are today, America accepts everything. It stands for nothing anymore.
That's about it. Yeah, unfortunately.
Totally unfortunately. It's unfortunate that no one will stand up to any kind of issues. They just they're lambs to the slaughter.
Yeah. Sheeple.
That's our name.
Sheeple, yes.
Don, we need to organize, finance, and create something that's going to be beneficial for us. And we'll run it through the legislature, get it done, and all the sheeple won't say a word because it's already a done deal. I think that's it. It becomes such an ominous burden to counteract something that's been well-funded and well-greased going in.
No, you can't fight it.
No. I mean, it's that's why I'm very interested in seeing if we can Senator Fain down here to talk. I'd be fascinated to hear her logic.
Good luck with that.
You never know.
We'll send the invitation.
Yeah. And by the way, on the Shake, Rattle, and Troll website, there is a survey column. What does red, white, and blue mean to you? And I'd like everybody who can to take a moment, go to the website, and post your thoughts and your comments because it's our country, or at least it was, unless we're not leading the way.
It's been taken over by Starbucks.
And Walmart.
Walmart I don't have too much of a problem with because they let everybody in the store. And where they find those people that show up at Walmart after 10 p.m. is absolutely beyond my imagination.
You know, I've seen enough Walmart photos that I just shake my head going, what?
They bust them in for that.
Yeah.
I don't ever go to Walmart without a camera, so that way I can submit
absolutely.
the pictures to the website.
They call them Walmartians.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got it. Personally, I have a little bit of a rub with Starbucks. They've made so much money. And God love them. They're very successful at selling coffee. But now, with their excess profits, they want to tell us what we're going to do.
Social issues.
They want to save the planet.
I know.
You know, you're going to see Paul Watson on Whale Wars with the Starbucks boat. Before it over. Yeah.
I eat caffeine.
I'm serious. You know, and the Duck Dynasty issue, he came out and had a little something to say, personal opinion on gay folks. And he boycotted them, and now Starbucks says, if you supported Duck Dynasty, we don't want your business.
That's so ridiculous.
They don't get my business anyhow.
Well, they're getting the business. So
we're giving gift cards to transients.
Yeah, dude. All right, hey, when we come back, we're going to go fishing with James Guggenauer up on the Mother Lake. I'm Don McDowell with
Al Tracy,
Bill Burrow,
John Colazar,
and Toll Roads. Think about that for a minute.
Old boss thinks I'm sick today. He won't have me to harass. 'Cause I'm out here on the river, and he can kiss my big old bass.
On the toll road.
Kiss my bass.
Hey, James Guggenauer, what's happening up there, brother?
Hey, good morning, Don. How's it going?
Well, let me. We're doing good, thank you. How do you feel about having a toll road in
to Payson? Yeah. The B line will become the toll line.
But, you know, we got a lot of four-wheel drive vehicles up there, so we can get around a lot of things like that.
Boys with shotguns, you got to love it. Mm-hmm. All righty, what's happening on the Mother Lake this week?
Hey, fishing on Roosevelt Lake was called fair this past week by experienced anglers.
I heard a couple of guys call it really good.
Well, you know, let me get to that in the next paragraph.
Okay.
I want to tell you that the lake level went up 1% this past week, and it's at 48% full. Now, we talked last week about the flows from the Salt and the Tunnel Creek going down, and they're continuing to go down. Salt River is flowing at about half of its normal rate, but it's still only about 250 cubic feet per second. And the Tunnel Creek, it's 25%, but, I mean, it's in the single digits worth of flow. So we need some more snow up here, and we need it pretty soon. As for the different reports, you know, it was really different this week, and this is the first week that I got this winter. But I talked to some guys that were using a drop shot in 15 feet of water, using a 6-inch dark-colored worm. Other guys were using a 1-ounce Stratus jigging spoon in 40 feet of water, and still others were using a 1-ounce jig with a dark-colored skirt in 50 feet plus water. So it seems like, you know, pockets of bass are around, and if you can find one of those pockets, you can probably have a pretty good day.
I had some pretty good reports on squarebill crankbaits.
I didn't
Shallow.
on crankbaits, but it's about the first week that I didn't.
Wow.
You know, we've been talking in the last couple of weeks that deep diving crankbaits were working pretty good. Nobody did mention that this week. But, you know, look for those pockets. We were telling anglers that you got to use your graph this time of year because, like as an example, if you pull into one of the hot spots that I was given last week, like along Connor's Ledge, which is up by the Windy Hill ramp, and you happen to see a school of bass, say, in deeper water, you can probably catch them if you're using a jigging spoon or a jig if you're getting down that deep to get them. But you have to be able to use your graph and locate those schools like that. And if you do, you could have a good day. And I wouldn't doubt that your guys with a crankbait, you know, they ran across something that was working, and there's just a lot of bass in that area.
It's called getting lucky.
Mm.
Hey, one other hot spot that was given, I talked about Connor's Ledge. The second one is Cottonwood Cove. For those guys that are familiar with Cottonwood Cove, it's the cove with a pump in the middle of it. And from Cottonwood Cove heading towards Windy Hill, along that stretch, there's a lot of brush right in there. The water's about 15 to 25 feet of water. And I got good reports that a drop shot was working in that little stretch right there. For our listeners that are familiar with the rock point that jets out there, so from Cottonwood Cove up to that rocky point is where everyone's been fishing. Now, with crappie fishing, guys are continuing to struggle on Roosevelt Lake. Experienced anglers are telling me that in a morning of fishing, they're catching 5 crappie. Compare that to, years past where it used to be 25 crappie. Trolling technique is being used with a 3/16 ounce jig, either a 2-inch grub tail or a live minnow. But guys still continuing to struggle with crappie, just can't quite figure that one out yet. And the last place we talked about was Green Valley Lake here in Payson, because it's now part of the Arizona Game and Fish Community Fishing Program, which has replaced the urban fishing program they had last year. But there's a guy in Payson caught a 4.5-pound rainbow out of there this past week.
That's a big rainbow.
Yeah, that's a big trout.
Yay!
That's a big trout. He got his picture in the Payson Roundup newspaper.
No doubt.
It's a great time if any of your listeners come up this way and you're going to spend a couple of days, be sure to bring a fishing rod, because now with the community fishing program, your regular fishing license covers fishing those lakes now.
And the trout stamp?
You don't have to, you don't have to buy any of that now.
It's
all covered
changed.
with the regular license.
Hey, what are you hearing on Apache? I've got the results from All-Star Bass on the 18th. Lawrence and Sammy Schattenberg weighed in 1382. Corinthian Cruiser weighed 1273. Clifford Perch and Buddy Randall third place at 1249. And sounded like it was a pretty good event.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Here's how things have changed so much up here. A 13-pound sack for Saguaro or for Apache these days is considered low. Usually they're in the 16 to 18-pound range. But yeah, good tournament for some of those guys. You catch a bag like that on Roosevelt, and I guarantee you're walking away the winner.
Times change. Fish changes.
Times change. Hopefully we can get that switch back around. But yeah, Apache, for every report that I get on Apache is good anymore. Guys are throwing the spider baits down there, which we've said before is more of like a springtime kind of bait instead of summer. But already they're starting to catch fish on Apache and Saguaro with the spider bait, and the crappie down there. All the guys who are camping at Roosevelt or along the Roosevelt areas, they all head down to Apache to go crappie fishing. Doing the same techniques they use it on Roosevelt. They're using a trolling method down there. They're in deeper water where there's structure, and getting reports that they get 10 to 15, catching a limit down there of 15 each time they go out.
Well, sounds all pretty promising. I want to finish up on that All-Star. They had 62 teams, weighed 164 fish, had one mortality, a total of 346.6 pounds. Average fish weight was 2.11. Average pounds of fish per team was 265, and average weight was 550. So, pretty good day. Beats using a weed eater. I'm saying.
I hear you on that one.
All right, what else you got going on? Anything notable on the wolf front?
Well, just a reminder that if any of our listeners, and I know a lot are hunters and fishermen, we're looking for photographs or evidence of wolves in rim country. We've got several reports and guys who have a picture, so we're working on trying to get those. But we're trying to get them to Game and Fish. They do monitoring of the wolves, but not all wolves have collars on them. So if someone's got a picture of one and we can get a GPS location, or maybe not a specific area, but just a general area of where a wolf was seen, it would sure help the Game and Fish understand better the range of the wolves right now.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Is there any, last time you and I talked, there was some photographs floating around in Christopher Creek of the wolf. Have those surfaced yet?
Have not surfaced yet, but because we can't get in touch with the guy who's got the picture, but I've talked to guys who've seen the picture, so it's definitely there. And what's kind of unique is that this wolf has a collar. So
really,
a lot of people ought to know about that one. But yeah, we'll get that picture. And
yeah, but they're not.
Telemetry units don't lie that badly.
Yeah, but they're not saying.
No, I know.
On a regular basis, they're not saying.
Yeah.
Sherry
hey,
Barrett.
So if anybody has pictures or other evidence or even sightings of them,
roadkill would be excellent.
Yeah, contact Rim Country Custom Rods or get on the Shake, Rattle, and Troll website. And
yeah, boy.
Or something.
And put that telemetry unit on the next eastbound Safeway truck heading out of town.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Right on the rear axle. It'll go a long way.
Put it on a green cab. Nice.
Oh, JK, you're going to get us all in trouble, bro.
You know what? I'm ready for it because, Jim, what they're trying to force feed us, it's like this toll road. It's just like, what in the what's next?
I understand.
That little microchip in your right cheek.
I have no doubt at birth you're going to get one under your thumbnail.
Yeah.
All righty, man. Give everybody up there a pat on the back. You guys are doing a good job. James Guggenau, Rim Country Custom Rods.com. We'll be back.
I know I don't want her. I swear
okay, everybody sing.
But the
nice. All righty, we need to get this thing wrapped up and get over to Metro Center and get the kids off the 5-ton.
They were climbing all over it yesterday.
I can tell you firsthand, the cab of that 5-ton will hold 13 5-year-old or 5th grade boys.
You sardined them?
I didn't. I went to the restroom when I came back and it was full of little boys. It went through about 120 pounds of air in the air tank. Okay, so Al, let's get this thing wrapped up. Website, contact numbers, call out for volunteers, and anything else?
Yeah, our website again is ArizonaAutomobileHobbyistCouncil.com or azhobbyist.com, and we're always looking for volunteers. All the contact information is on our website. Or you can contact me personally. My phone number is 623-204-9172.
Mm-hmm.
I can be contacted 24/7. I have 2 sons in the military. My phone is always on.
Well, thank those guys for doing what they do. And what do they do to roll home?
Well, they're both in the United States right now. They've been overseas, but they're both local. They're in the United States.
Good. Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, thank them for their service.
I wish you well on this uphill battle. I'd like to know more as it goes on. I mean, based on the dollars that are involved in an initiative, you're looking at to present a campaign that the voters understand. You're probably looking at close to $2 million.
Anyway.
Yeah. We need a lot of corporate support. We need a lot of individuals. You can go on our website, ArizonaAutomobileHobbyistCouncil.com, and we've got a donation button on our website that you can go in and donate through PayPal. You don't have to have a PayPal account, but you can make a donation. We also have a website that's set up. It's notollroadsinaz.com.
I think of it more as a troll road.
Mm-hmm.
That's based on your little shirt.
Troll.
Yeah.
And I think the corporate sponsorship, if we could get a hold of the big corporations, things like Ruan Transportation and First Fleet, these are these are companies that are going to be impacted by this directly.
Every
gosh,
dealership
everything.
in town.
You know what the price of groceries is going to do?
Astronomical. It's going to go up. I mean, we are the number one most competitive grocery store market of all 50 states. We have more grocery store brand names here than anywhere in the country, and our prices are low because of the competition, and that's going to end completely.
It'll completely evaporate. The trucking companies will just pass it on to the consumers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They always do.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So it's kind of bend over time for the consumers.
Man. Anything to add, Bill?
I hope that we can get some additional support. Contact through the website or to Al directly. And if you're able and willing to help us out at any of the major car events that we go to, we're looking for people to help man the booth to collect signatures, as well as we have people in the Northwest Valley retired community, people that are actually interested, and they're taking it to their churches and their social events and collecting signatures for us as
How
well.
many signatures do you have now? Do you know?
I don't know what the count is. We have thousands, but we don't have what we need. We need 260,000 to reach our goal. We're
Correct.
actually trying for 300,000 because that way there's going to be some that they're going to neutralize.
There's going to be a failure factor there. Yeah.
Well, we printed 10,000 petitions. It has to be along the government form.
Mm-hmm.
That's only half of what we have to turn in. We have to do another printing. And that cost us $900 just for the printing.
Easy.
Yeah.
But all of this is being done by volunteers, so we don't have an advertising budget. We don't have a campaign. We're trying to get the word out man to man, as well as information on the website or on programs like this.
Well, you guys are welcome to come out to the 16th annual Bill Luke Bass Days at Pleasant Harbor. We've got, we're handing out over $50,000 for the fishing side. We've got a cornhole contest. We have.
You might start your own troll road going into harbor.
There is one. There's a little entry gate there.
Yeah, I've been through that.
You either have a card that you bought or you get in your wallet. But everything's free. We've got a carnival, a lot of family activities.
That carnival is fun for kids.
It's going to be huge. You know what? I get a kick out of it, and I still don't really grip the concept of cornhole, how big it is in the country. It's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely a monster.
Last year we thought we were fine. Yeah, I mean, us old guys thought, okay, we can play this. It's no problem. We played. I won the helicopter ride.
Wrong.
Until we took on the teams. I swear to God, these guys must just practice weekend after weekend after weekend. They're done. 21-0. My teams got skunked 21-0. And I wasn't part of it. Yeah. Eddie and Jimmy. They, Jim Unmocked and Eddie Corona.
Well, they're under the impression that
caveat, beer does not help your
cornhole play. That's what I'm going to say. They think the more beer you drink, the better you play.
Yeah.
It's like the more beer you drink, the better you dance. Wrong.
Or drive.
I'm not going to go there.
This guy's like the king of the two-step.
I do enjoy that, yeah.
2-step, 3-step, old 10-step, 10-step, new 10-step, 12-step, Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe and the 2-step I understand, and the 12-step.
Yeah, I got hung up on 12-step.
Yeah,
are you up on your 12-step program?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of steps.
If I could just mention, we have the Arizona Automobile Hobbyist Council has a car show next Saturday. We're going to have a full-page article in the paper on Friday, Arizona Republic, but it's our No Toll Roads in AZ car show. And it's at Sanderson Ford next Saturday from 10 to 3.
Dodge.
Yeah.
Okay.
We won't go into that competition aspect as long as we know there's somewhere to put the time in.
I don't mind that at all. People need to know about this.
I agree. And by the way, Don, I'd like to see what you're going to wind up doing with the non-parental unit of Eagles on the northern end of the Agua Fria arm. It's going to be fascinating to see the logic behind 3 years of nesting where they haven't been where they haven't been bothered by the population, and yet they've failed to breed a single chick, and yet we're still shutting down 4 miles worth of lake for that.
Next week we will have letters generated, and apparently, like these guys need as well, we will have to engage in the public outcry.
Mm-hmm.
Get this stopped because, a 4 mile restriction on Lake Pleasant for no fledglings, No restrictions on Bartlett. No restrictions on Saguaro Lake.
And they're all
300
over the place.
meter on Roosevelt. And while we're at it, I think we're probably going to talk about the Goose closure, Goose Flats. On Roosevelt, there are more. Just check. There are more geese in Green Valley Park in Payson than there is behind the Goose Flats closures.
You know why? Food, habitat.
Well, yeah. Well, that and the fact you land over there, somebody's going to be shooting at you.
I would never do that.
Yeah, if I'm a goose, I'm going to a no-fire zone.
Absolutely. And all around the little urban lakes, that's what they're there for. You know, they got the grass, which they love to munch on. They create enough of the chemical runoffs to have all the plankton that they want in the bottom of those little ponds, and nobody bothers them. And sometimes you even get free bread. If I were a goose, I know where I'd stay. Poor Jennifer's gone off the deep end.
I don't know. You know, we're just Arizona's a great place, but we're seeming to be plagued with bureaucratic generated issues.
Well, we're becoming more and more Californianized, where we have rules and regulations on everything. And I'm, you know.
Well, you're on it. You know, if they do it in California, it's here within 24 months.
Yeah, unfortunately.
When was the stuff passed? The fuel increase passed over there?
In California?
Yeah.
March. March last year.
March.
Yeah, so we got a 12-month window. Buy gas now.
It's not like you can stockpile it, though. With the ethanol, it separates.
I can. Woof. There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, he stocks up on green apples, from what I hear, to run the Prius. You know, I think this is the first time in 13 years in the history of Shake, Rattle, and Troll that we have had 2 Prius vehicles in the parking lot.
At the same time.
Call Guinness.
It's scary.
Wow. What are you driving? What kind?
Toyota Sienna.
Close enough. Okay.
Ferner.
Yeah, really. All right, anything to add on behalf of ADA or AZSFWC? We've got a meeting Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, meeting for the Arizona Sports for Wildlife Conservation.
Who's in charge of food?
You know, not me. That's the only good thing I know.
Yeah, not me. Hopefully not Eddie.
No. Eddie. He always does what he does.
Yeah, those tacos are just absolutely belly bombs. All righty, that's it. Email address one more time.
Our email is aahc.org@gmail.com for the Hobbyist Council.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming down, and we'll stay in contact with you. And anytime you have an update, you guys are welcome to air your differences right here on Shake, Rattle, and Troll. JK, hope to see you and Mr. Colazar at the tank exhibit this afternoon.
My dad was talking about it yesterday. He's going to pass on it, but he was talking about all the gyroscope work that he had done on those, as well as the hydraulics. That's what he worked on.
Pull the string.
Yeah.
All right, hey, take your kids fishing, hug your bass boat. We're out of here.